Welcome, everyone, to the Bucks County Living Podcast. I'm your host, Alex Neff, your real estate resource. Today, I am joined by the owner of Fletcher's Garage, Fred Fletcher, my good friend. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Alex.
It is so good to see you. Thank you so much for coming on the Bucks County Living
Thanks
Podcast.
for having me. Yeah,
I'm so excited to talk about you and the garage because you are hands down probably one of the best and most honest mechanics that I have ever met.
well, that's always nice to hear.
And you are also the father of a good friend of my wife's. So I appreciate everything you do for us and for the community, and I'm really excited to talk about you today on the podcast.
Great. Thanks.
So could you give us a little bit of a background about you and how you landed in Bucks County? Because you're not originally from Bucks
No,
County,
I'm
are
originally
you?
from Ewing, New Jersey, and Trenton, New Jersey. When I met my wife through a blind date back in 1988, and we were together. I had my apartment in the city of Trenton, and we got married in May of '91. And we were living at my apartment, and she said, "Okay, now that we're married, where are we going to live?" I'm like, "No, I'm fine here." She's like, "No, that's not going to work." So she's originally from Levittown, Middletown Township. So this really isn't a place to raise a family when we do decide to have a family. So in late '91, we bought our house in Fairless Hills, and been there ever since. Still in our starter home, 31 years later. So.
That's incredible.
Yeah, we have a great neighborhood. I love my neighborhood.
It's Levittown and Fairless Hills. It's such like a wonderful starter family community,
Right.
and then it's so good that a lot of people don't leave.
Right. Yeah, I see a lot of. Now we're one of the senior people on the street, and we do see a lot of the turnover. The parents that we moved in with are now gone, and their
Right.
generations are still there. They're still renting the house. They don't just move away, like in a lot of places. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
So how did you get into the car business and becoming a mechanic?
Originally, I hated cars. So when I was 8 years old, we went out to Ohio, and my grandfather had taken me to the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. And right from there, I was hooked on airplanes. So that was it. And I knew I was going to work on airplanes. So and there's a path to this story, but I'll get there. My whole life was airplanes. My dad was a grease monkey car mechanic, the old original 50s, 60s greaser, drag racer,
Wow.
building stuff like that. The old John Milner from the American Graffiti movie. That was my dad. So I kind of got away. I wanted to go a different direction, and then once I joined the Air Force, coming out of high school, did my 4 years and got training in aircraft mechanics. So I was there for, not my 4 years. And I had taken a job with Eastern Airlines. And so I was going to separate from the Air Force, which hindsight 2020, I kind of wish I stayed, but, oh well. But my dad had the business in Trenton from 1980. So I've been involved with that, in some shape and form since 1980 for the last 40-something years. But except for the 4 years I was in the Air Force. So once I took the job at Eastern, before I could get out of the Air Force, Eastern Airlines got sold. So they took away all the jobs. So just before I was getting out, my dad had some health issues. And I said, "Sure, Dad, I'll help you with the business for a while, but I'm going back into the airlines." And that was the final sentence, because I've been there ever since. I've been, in auto repair ever since.
Wow.
So that's helped my dad with the business for a few years. In 1999, I bought the business from him in Trenton. After a couple of years of dealing with the crime in the city, I had enough. So we sold the business, paid my father off, and ended up moved it over to Langhorne. I was there for a couple of years, but on Route 1 and Lincoln Highway, and found that wasn't my home. Then I moved into my place that I'm at now, and I had a gas station. I was a Citgo station there in Fairless Hills. Was there for about 7 years, and the landlord said they were going to sell the property to a Dunkin' Donuts. So they told me they didn't renew my lease. So begrudgingly, I left and ended up on Trenton Road, where I actually took over a car wash as well as the auto repair shop in Fallsington. So I was there about 6-7 years, and then that landlord sold the property to another place, and I ended up down in Morrisville after 7 years in Fawsington. So I was down in Morrisville. I was doing a lot of hot rods and stuff like that. I wanted to get into restoration. I really loved that genre of car, of the old cars. And I was down there. I had a body shop and everything, which we used to do in Trenton. Tried to get that going. That never panned out for me. It was a tough business. So wanted to get out of Morrisville. Wanted to get out of the old car business, on the whole. I still do the mechanics. I don't do the restorations. So ended up looking for a place back in Fairless Hills, and lo and behold, my original place never got sold to the Dunkin' Donuts. They had the gas tanks taken out, which was fine with me, and it was available. So after months of negotiation, I ended up back here where I'm at now, and I'm here to stay. I'm not going anywhere.
Wow. So it all kind of came full circle.
Yes, it did. Full circle is the best way of saying that. Yep.
That's incredible. So you have been in business yourself since what year?
1999 is when I bought the business from Dad. But I've been in this industry since, you might as well say, since 1980.
Wow.
Because when I used to take leave from the Air Force, I had nowhere to go, so I'd come up and help my dad at the shop.
And it's always been Fletcher's Garage.
Well, it used to be called F&R Auto Repair.
Okay.
And then when I was originally moved over from Trenton to Pennsylvania, it was called East Penn Automotive Repair and East Penn Sitco. And then when I decided to take over the car wash, I changed it to Fletcher's Car Wash along with East Penn Automotive. And then I just decided when I moved to Morrisville, it was going to be Fletcher's Garage. Wanted that old time feel, to do with the old cars, but I kept it this way now, so it works.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's really great because I just feel like the brand is
Mm-hmm.
like you are like the keystone of the brand, obviously being Fred Fletcher, and then the brand itself
Right.
is I mean, I might be in a bubble, but anybody you talk to, it's like, oh, you know Fred Fletcher, you got to go to Fletcher's Garage.
Right.
Everybody in town knows who you are because
Right.
you are the most honest and the most likable of all
I
the
try.
mechanics that I've met.
I've had my moments, but I try.
So
Don't push me.
yeah, and no, I think it's so important to really highlight that because it is such a it's so tough to not only find a good mechanic but also to find a reliable and honest and
Yeah.
decent human being.
Yeah, my father always ran the business honestly, so it kind of just it's in the blood, in the genes, whatever you
Yeah.
want to call it. And I see the horror stories that still go on. I've been seeing for the last 35 years or whatever, and it's like, God, why do these people do this? There's a way to do this honestly, and if I can't do it honestly, I don't want to do it. I'll get out of business.
Exactly.
So I said, there's a way to do this honestly. So I kind of promoted myself that way, as like without strictly saying I'm an honest guy. And I just wanted to, earn your trust. Come in, and I'll earn your trust.
Exactly.
So I've got that way, and over the last few years, it's really taken off because you hear the horror stories.
Exactly, and that's something I've learned too. Being in real estate, if you do good work, people will realize that, and if you're just honest with them and truthful throughout the entire process, whether it's selling a house or fixing a car,
Right.
the similarities are uncanny. Where just be a decent human being because they're not just a customer, they're not just a dollar sign, they're a human being.
Yeah, I always look at it like, how would I want to be treated?
Exactly.
How would I want my mom to be treated when she goes into a place if I wasn't in the industry? If, she had to go get her car done somewhere. No, I'd want her to get done honestly and, as fair as possible.
Exactly. Exactly. That's awesome. So as a result of being in the car business for so long, you've been able to do some pretty cool things as an honest and reliable mechanic. One of the things that I saw not too long ago was James Brown's estate.
Yes. Yeah, that one that came from my reputation, which was pretty high praise. I've had a customer, he's been with me for a few years. I did not know what he did. He had a Corvette, and I've been working on it and piecing it together for him, keeping it together because it's an older one. And it has its issues, and one day he calls me up and he goes, "Can I stop by? I want to talk to you." And I said, "Okay." So he came by. He goes, "I got a weird question." He goes, "I have an estate that I'm working on, and I'm just figuring he's somebody around here." And he's like, "Would you be interested in going down to Augusta, Georgia, and checking out some cars?" I'm like, "Sure." Augusta? Yeah, I'll get out here for a while. So he goes, okay. He goes, it's James Brown's estate. I'm like, James Brown? The James Brown? He's like,
the James Brown.
He said, yeah, James Brown. And I was like, how'd you get that? He goes, well, it turns out he's a music producer. And he owns he's partners in a record company. And music, they buy the estates, and when somebody passes away, and they either turn them into museums or liquidate the assets, or they own the rights to music. And yeah, so I said, sure, I'll go down there and check out James Brown's cars. And they've been sitting for 15 years since he passed, but they were still in pretty good shape. So I got a couple of them running. The other ones, they just wanted to go over and see what they need and evaluate the cost of getting them going, or should they just get rid of them. So to ask for my advice on James Brown's estate was a pretty big thing for me.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so yeah, I hold that high in my career.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah.
That's hands down probably like top. That would probably be in my life one of the top 3 greatest experiences to be able to go and do something like that, because just to just get asked one day out of the blue, like a Tuesday morning, not no different than any other day, just drinking your coffee, getting ready to start the day.
And I called my wife and I said, yeah, guess what? She goes, I'm going to Augusta, Georgia. She said, for what? Okay.
That's incredible.
So, and I asked them, because they told me everything they own, which I can't disclose. And I'm like, oh, let me check out some of those other people's cars. We'll see what goes on. So I keep in touch with them, and I keep in touch with the guy down at James Brown's estate who hit the caretaker. So I keep in touch with him. He was a great guy. So we had a good time down there.
That's really cool, because who knows what that could even turn into, because
Yes.
you do this as a music producer. He might be taking care of other people that we have no idea about right now.
Right. Well, I have an idea, but like I said, I can't say.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's pretty huge.
Yeah, signing the NDA kind of
Yeah.
keeps it in tight.
Yeah.
So that's incredible. I love that. I'm so happy that you were able to
times.
experience that. And
Yep.
And how was it? Was his house beautiful?
Oh, it was gorgeous. It was gorgeous, and it was exactly the way the day he passed.
Wow.
So, it was Christmas Day, 1995, I believe, 95 or 96. But the Christmas tree was still up as a fake tree, as a matter of fact.
Wow.
Obviously, and presents were still under the tree and everything. The family wanted to leave it exactly the way it was, and then when the company bought it, they decided to keep it that way as well.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Could you imagine the mystery boxes under those Christmas under that Christmas tree?
The caretaker, I got friends with James Brown. There's some stories. So. There's some stories.
Oh man!
What you see with James Brown was what you got.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I heard he was quite a character, and then they had that movie too that just came out recently, not too long ago, about him. So that's
but
wow.
We'll see where it goes from. Hopefully, it leads on to some other things as well.
Yeah,
so.
that would be great.
Yeah.
That would be really great. And then you also have a radio show that you do. Is it once a week?
Once a week, yeah. Do it on Thursday morning. Well, I'm going to move from 9:30 to 9 a.m. on Thursday mornings on WBCB, which is 1490 a.m., which is the preeminent Bucks County radio station. They also have 107.3 FM now, and then you can get them on the web stream at www.wbcb1490.com, so you can listen to simulcast. I've been doing that for about 16 years, and I never run out of things to say, and it's great to be a part of that community, of the WBCB community, because they're so ingrained in the Levittown, Bucks County community. They've got me into, they steered me into certain community events, which I took to, and we do a lot of stuff with the community, my whole business. I credit WBCB for me still being around. Yeah, because they've been great.
That's great. So it's called Under the Hood. And do you talk specifically about car stuff?
Yeah, it's if you remember the old click and clack type show that they used to have on the syndicated radio. People call in and ask questions about cars. If they don't call in, Jim and I just sit there and BS the whole time.
Okay.
And we talk about cars, or sometimes we talk about just community stuff. And then a lot of times we talk about my efforts with the Relay for Life, the American Cancer Society, the stuff that I used to do with Mike Fitzpatrick with the Veterans Associations and VFWs and American Legions, because we're heavy involved. Being a vet myself, I got involved with that, and Mike was great with that before he passed, and we did a lot of stuff together. So that's all credit back to WBCB.
That's great.
Yeah.
What do you have any community events coming up in October and November?
October, what do I have coming up? Nothing in October. I think October, I have a fundraiser for the Relay for Life, which is kind of out of the box. I don't know if you saw it on my Facebook, where I'm going to race a dirt track car because I grew up as a dirt track racer. My dad had cars. I grew up in the pits at Flemington Speedway and East Windsor Speedway. Now I can't afford to buy a car, but buy my own car. But there's an experience that they let me run 20 laps. So I'm running a fundraiser now where people can guess my fastest lap time. And then whoever gets the closest, it's like a 50-50. And a football pool kind of morphed together. And, you can guess my time and we'll see who wins. And we'll raise probably a couple $1,000s for that event alone, just for the American Cancer Society. With the Relay for Life of Fairless Hills, I've been involved with that since also 2006. I was chairman for 5 years. And since 2006, since that I know from being involved till now, we've raised over $2 million just in the Relay for Life Fairless Hills, Bucks County.
Wow.
For the research over the years. So.
Holy moly.
Yeah, so it's...
what does a Relay for Life, do they focus on any cancer specifically?
No, it's just general cancers.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just any kind of research. Everybody has their own that they champion when they're involved with that, which is fine. But overall, it's all for all cancers.
Wow, that's incredible.
So if you
$2
want to
million year to date from 06 until now.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. It's been a great event. It used to be 24 hours at Pennsbury High School. We used to stay out overnight. It's a year-long fundraisers. Everybody has their fundraisers, all the teams. And then it culminates to one weekend in June where we stayed overnight at the Pennsbury football field. And then they had events, and it was like a carnival-type atmosphere. But now we moved it to Tullytown because the Pennsbury's redoing their stadium now. So for the next couple of years, we moved it down to Tullytown Community Park, and that's great down there too. And we did well down there. So but it's not 24 hours anymore. The ACS cut it down to 12 hours.
Okay.
So we don't stay overnight anymore with tents and stuff. But it's still carnival atmosphere. Come on, it's a great time. It's like, you walk the track and people collect fees, feet and stuff like that, saying for the mileage that they put on. And you just collect stuff all year long, and we get it. It's a great time.
That's
People
beautiful.
should get involved with that.
That's great. Thank you for all of your help with the community, and also thank you for your service as when you were in the service. Thank you for everything you do for the men and women that are coming out of the service. And
you're very welcome, and it was my pleasure to do it all.
Yeah, because you got to do what you loved. You worked on the airplanes, and you did what you had set out to do.
Yeah, I miss airplanes, but I also I'm not going to say I just made the best out of working on cars, because I really do enjoy my business.
Yeah.
And I enjoy helping everybody out. So to me, it's not just about working on cars. It's about taking care of people. I really do enjoy what I do.
Exactly, and that's what I've learned is that when you take care of people, just putting out genuine good things into the universe pays back tenfold, and in more than money, just in like your own personal peace and serenity. And
that's why I said if I was in this for all the money, it's not going to happen. So.
Yeah.
I wanted to make the best of it. I wanted to not just exist through life. I wanted to live through it.
Exactly.
So, and that's what we're doing.
That's great. So can you tell me the question that I have that I think a lot of people have? What is the significance of the flamingos? Okay.
That is a very heartwarming, kind of long, but I'll give it to you. When I was chairman of the American Cancer Society, the Relay for Life, a girl joined right after I became chairman, and she wanted to join the committee. She was 29 years old, and her name was Nasa Arena, and she was a Levittown person, and she just got diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer. So she goes, I'm fighting this all the way to the end. I'm going to kick its ass. We're gonna get there. So she was determined, and so she came up with all kinds of fundraising ideas. The years that we've known her. And she raised a lot of money, and she made my job as chairman much easier, and she was a sweetheart. and a single mom. And so she came up with this thing of fundraising, which was called flocking. So it's where you put a number of flamingos on somebody's lawn, and they have to pay or donate to get them on somebody else's lawn. Get them off your lawn and put them on somebody else's lawn. So that was she got me first. And I woke up one morning and there was 50 pink flamingos and a big sign that says, "You've been flocked." So I thought that was hysterical, and I loved it. So I paid to have it done at my friend's house, over to my friend's house, and they took off from there. And she had her people, and I had my people, and, so we were just getting everybody flocked. And once she got as the cancer progressed, because it actually took a turn for the worst, and she fought like crazy, but it took a turn for the worst, and she couldn't do it anymore. First, I helped her out, getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning and going and putting them on these people's houses, and then after a while, she couldn't do it, so I ended up taking it over for her. But she still was involved with stuff like the parades and stuff like that. So they called her the flocking queen. She would dress up in a pink dress with flamingo eyeglasses, flamingo hat. She just flamingoed out all the way, and she really got into the role. So then I became the god flocker. So I got a pink zoot suit and a pink fedora and a big old Flavor Flav pink flamingo on my necklace. And we do the parades, and we got a lot of people saw us in the parades, and they would do the flocking donations just from that. And we just had a ball for that. But ultimately, she got sicker and sicker and sicker, and then passed away in 2012. She was 32, and but she fought all the way till the end. And when I took over the car wash, I was looking for a mascot, and just like a logo for my car wash, because East Penn Automotive, I didn't think of anything for that, But I said, flamingos go with it. So we painted the inside of the car wash tunnel pink, and we lined it with the flamingos. And I said, yeah, flamingos go with that. Plus, it'll pay homage to NASA. It was like a tribute to her, and all she did for us, because she really touched everybody's lives that's involved. There's probably 1,200 people involved with the Relay for Life, and she touched everybody's life. And so I wanted to show some honor to her, and so I used the flamingo, and called it Fletcher's Car Wash, and everybody never knew it as Fletcher's Car Wash. They said, "Oh yeah, the Flamingo Car Wash." Yeah. So when I decided to get out of the car wash business, when they sold the property, I said, "I'm going to keep the Flamingo as Fletcher's," because everybody knows me as the Flamingo guy. Yeah. So that's how that came up. But wow. It really is all to honor NASA and her memory.
What a beautiful, beautiful story. And it's waking up at 4 a.m., and again, if I woke up and I saw a bunch of flamingos on my front yard, you bet I would definitely be donating to get somebody to take them off immediately. And yeah. That's wow.
And a couple of times we'd be out there, we'd doing it together, and we'd halfway done, and somebody would turn a light on, and we'd dive under the cars so they didn't see us. It was we'd laugh our asses off. So it was funny. So. Wow. But we had a good time doing that, and we still miss her terribly. And we still do at our Relay for Life. It's been 12 years. A lot of people don't know her anymore, and but we put a flamingo up and tell the story of what she has done for us, and it's like, oh my, I wish we knew her. Yeah. So that's how much she meant to us.
Well, luckily, Fred Fletcher, the God Flocker, is able to
carry it on.
Continue to carry it on.
Thank you. So, but yeah, that's the flamingo.
That's great. That's beautiful. Wow. I'm at a loss for words. That's like, it's such a heavy and beautiful story to really just pay, like you said, pay homage to NASA.
I still tear up telling the story. Yeah. I'm getting all welled up now.
Wow. All right. Well, next, now, this isn't the best transition, but next, I like to move into a segment called the Big Three. Okay. So the Big Three are the three questions that I ask everybody that comes onto the show.
Okay.
My first question, Fred, is what do you think makes Bucks County a great place to live?
Okay. Let me step back to my old days in Ewing. I was born in 1964, so I'm old. And growing up in that, my dad had a gas station originally in Ewing Township, and everybody knew my dad, and because there's been a Fletcher in Ewing since 1864 or whatever.
Wow.
So everybody, it was a tight knit community. I still stay in touch with a lot of my friends I went to school with, but what I always enjoyed about it was the camaraderie and the closeness of all the neighbors. Like I knew every neighbor in a 3-mile area, or everybody in Ewing. And once I got out of that and I kind of missed it, everybody spread their own ways, But I feel that in Fairless Hills, in Levittown, in Bucks County. I mean, I've never lived up in Upper Bucks County, but in my neighborhood, I know all my neighbors. And I know everybody in Fairless Hills now, being in business and working on their cars and getting involved with stuff that they do. So the camaraderie, the feel, the familyness of the whole Bucks County. That's why I don't want to go anywhere else.
Beautiful. What is your favorite restaurant in Bucks County?
Well, I've tried most of them, as you can tell.
There's so many of them. There's so
I'm
many
gonna
good
say
ones.
I like Cancun over there.
Cancun is great. It's
Yes.
like real, authentic
Mexican.
Mexican.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hector's a great guy. The whole family, he's another family business.
Yeah.
And my daughter got close with them. I'm sure Jackie did too. With being at the bank, and we go in there and they treat us like their family, and it's great. The food is fantastic, and prices are great.
Yes,
and,
they are.
And margaritas are cold.
Yeah. Awesome. Cancun on Lincoln Highway.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. And my last question, Fred, is where can people find out more about you?
Well, I'm everywhere. I'm on Facebook. You can go on Fletcher's Garage on Facebook, or Fred Fletcher. I do a lot of my stuff on my personal Facebook and then transferred over to Fletcher's Garage. I have a website, www.fletchersgaragepa.com. And where else am I at? You can listen to WBCB, obviously, on Thursday morning at 9:30. Or 9 o'clock starting next week, or call in. You can abuse me on the air. We love it. What else do I do? I'm in Fairless Focus, and there's a lot of information on how to get a hold of us. We do a lot with the Fairless Focus. They do a lot for the community as well. I love doing stuff with them. I'm just, like I said, everywhere. I'm going to say predominantly if you go on Facebook, you'll find. You type in Fred Fletcher, you'll get it all.
Awesome.
So.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming out today,
Well,
Fred.
thanks for having me.
Talking about Fletcher's Garage, talking about everything that you do in the community and you continue to do for the community, and yeah, I've been moved from that story with Nasa and now the flamingo. It's like such a lighthearted, fun thing to look at,
Right.
And now it's it just has so much more beauty behind it now,
Right.
So
yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
So.
And as always, I'm Alex Neff, your real estate resource. Make sure to reach out if you have any questions about Bucks County living.